Hello, Sanbonan. My name is Lungsan Hlongwa, and today is another Sunday. So here is another Sunday video. And like I promised last week, today we're going to be getting into scripture, the Bible, which is for me the most, the most incredible book ever. I love books generally, but this one is different. It's the book. I thought about how I was gonna go about doing this, and I figured that I'm gonna go about it in the following way. Previously, I had said rather that I'll do my studying or my reading of the scripture, alone in my own private time, and then sort of construct or shape, messages that I'll be sort of sharing based on the things that I've learned, and I thought that was, fine. But I thought there was perhaps an even better way of going about it, which would be to actually read the scripture like in real time and sort of make some commentary, while I read it. And then once I'm done with that specific chapter or those couple of chapters over the course of, a few videos, then I can make like one video where I share the messages that I sort of gleaned or the lessons that I gleaned from that specific sort of, biography or group of chapters that speak to or pertain to a specific person, or however it is that I would group it at that particular moment in time. So today we're going to be reading the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 37. It is the story of Joseph. Now Jacob dwelled in the land where his father had sojourned, in the land of Canaan. So I'm thinking, what does the word sojourn mean? And I have a look at my dictionary, and what it means is that, or the definition is, a temporary stay in a place away from your home. So he's at a place that is not his home. It's the place that his father has, arrived at and has been staying at, that isn't necessarily though their home. So these are the genealogies of Jacob. When Joseph was 17 years old, he was a youth. He was shepherding the flocks with his brothers, with the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father. Okay, so this is the thought that I have, at this point, is that, okay, Joseph is like, what Joseph is doing now is basically snitching, and when you snitch, you're a snitch, and if you're a snitch, then, well, nobody likes you, because nobody likes a snitch. So I don't know what Joseph is up to, what he's trying to get at, but this is not good. This is not a good idea at all. Okay. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his other brothers, because he was the son of his old age. So he had made him a long-sleeved tunic. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak to him in peace. Then Joseph dreamed a dream and told his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Please listen to this dream I dreamt. There we were, binding sheaves in the middle of the field. All of a sudden, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered around and bowed down to my sheaf." This is not a good dream to tell your brothers. Like, when you have a dream like this is not the kind of dream that you go out there and you actually tell your brothers about this dream. This is like you keep quiet about a dream like this, But anyway, Joseph's got his own thing going on. So verse 8 is, "Will you truly be king over us?" His brothers said to him. "Will you really rule over us?" So they hated him even more because of his dreams and because of his words. Joseph is not making things easier for himself. You know, he's clearly not, like he's just blind to it all. Yeah, this is not the way to go about it. Anyway, but then he dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers, saying, I have just dreamed another dream. Suddenly there was the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowing down to me. He told it to his father as well as his brothers. Then his father rebuked him and said to him, What's this dream you dreamed? Will we really come, your mother and I, with your brothers, to bow down to the ground to you? So his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the speech in mind. Okay, so Joseph is not doing himself any favors whatsoever in any way, shape, fashion, or form. He is basically burying his own grave at this particular moment in time because he just keeps going, doing things that you're just not supposed to be doing, saying things that you're not supposed to be saying to your brothers. You know, already they don't like him because he's the favorite, you know, and now he's having all these dreams and now he's sharing all these dreams to his brothers, like more than once, you know. It's anyway, cool. Then his brothers went to graze their father's flock at Shechem. Israel said to Joseph, Aren't your brothers grazing the flocks in Shechem? Come, let me send you to them. Here I am, he said to him. Then he said to him, Go now and check on the welfare of your brothers and the welfare of the flocks and bring word back to me. So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. A man found him there wandering in the field, and the man asked him, What are you looking for? I'm looking for my brothers, he said. Please tell me where they are grazing. The man said, They've moved on from here. For I heard them saying, Let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Now they saw him from a distance. Before he was close to them, they plotted together against him in order to kill him. They said to one another, Here comes the master of dreams. Come on now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these pits so we can say that an evil animal devoured him. Then let's see what becomes of his dreams. Okay, so the inevitable has happened. Something has now been conceptualized as a result of the hate that the brothers of Joseph feel toward him, you know. And what did you expect, Joseph? What did you expect? Anyway, but Reuben heard and rescued him out of their hands, saying, We must not beat him to death in order to rescue him from their hand and to return him to his father. Reuben said to them, Don't shed blood. Throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him. Now that's very, very interesting because the brothers of Joseph have, you know, come up with this idea. They've conspired and put this plan together that they're going to kill him and that they're going to tell, you know, their father that, you know, he was killed by a wild animal. And one of his brothers, Reuben, decides that he is going to sort of stop that and sort of object to that and say that, wait a minute, let's not go that far, you know. And that's interesting because I wonder what that is. I wonder what that means. I wonder who that is, that when you are being conspired against, when plans are being hatched to destroy you, there's a voice, there is a person that says, no, hold on, let us not do that. Who is it that says that? Why is it do they say that? That's an interesting idea. That's a very interesting idea. I wonder who that is. Maybe that's the one or the friend that sticks closer than a brother. I've heard people speak about such a person. Anyway, let's move on. So as soon as Joseph came up to his brothers, they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the long-sleeved tunic that he had on. Then they took him and threw him into the pit. Now the pit was empty, with no water in it. Then they sat down to eat bread. When they looked up, behold, there was a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, with their camels carrying gum, balsam, and myrrh, going to bring them down to Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is there if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come on, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. Let's not lay our hand on him, since he's our brother, our own flesh." His brothers listened to him. When some men, Midianite merchants, passed by, they dragged Joseph up and out of the pit, and they sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not in the pit, he tore his clothes. Then returned to his brothers and said, "The boy is gone, and where shall I go?" So they took Joseph's tunic, slaughtered a billy goat, and they dipped it into the blood. Then they sent the long-sleeved tunic, and it was brought to their father, and they said, "We found this. Do you recognize whether or not it is your son's tunic?" He did recognize it and said, "My son's tunic. An evil animal must have devoured him. Joseph must be torn to pieces." Jacob tore his clothing and put on sackcloth and mourned for his son many days. All his sons got up along with all his daughters to console him, but he refused to be comforted. He said, "For I will go down to Sheol to my son mourning." So his father kept weeping for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold him into Egypt to Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh, the commander of the bodyguards. That's chapter 37. Those are some of the things that I thought while reading this chapter. What were your thoughts? Share them in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video when we take care of the following video, or the following chapter, rather. The story of Joseph.